Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bible study thing. We got a special guest today. They haven't been here on the show for a long time, so I'll have to, after I do invites here, invite you get on there. There it is. So the special guest today is none other than...
Yeehaw! It's me!
Yep.
Hi, everybody.
Supermodel.
But I do have to say, Rick has done an amazing job doing the Bible study on his own. You really did a good job. There goes the dogs. Hey, we're back together. Even the dogs are with us.
That's right.
That's pretty funny. We're back to barking.
Back to Bartonville.
Yes, that's funny.
Can you
But-
get a picture of him?
Let's see. If I can turn this around. There's a person walking. And that's not allowed because
No.
the dogs think they own everything.
That's right.
But while I'm doing this, the yard looks absolutely beautiful. Rick got all kinds of stuff. He was out in the yard all day today. There's Selene and Aquinas. There's there's Selene and Mr. Diggles. And this is Aquinas.
It's like having kids.
Yes,
Can't remember their
that's
names.
right. But yeah, everything looks so beautiful. Thank you for doing all that. But yeah, guys, it's nice to be back with you, and you did a really great job filling in for me. Thank you for that. But it's nice to be back on track, and
There's a heady back.
God willing, we'll be able to stay there.
That's right.
Let's see. We're outside, so can you hold this while I do the intro?
Sure can.
So instead of picking up where we left off, we thought we would just start where we're supposed to be, and so that is with 1 Timothy.
That's right.
So we're in 1 Timothy today, and I have the intro. And the intro isn't as cool as the last intro, because that was really fun with the last one. But this one's actually pretty cool. But, so Timothy is actually a person. And so this is a letter to him from Paul. And so this is the first of 2 inspired letters that Paul wrote to his beloved son in faith. And Paul really loved Timothy. He took him in. Timothy was like in his teens when he started following and becoming a Christian and stuff. And so Paul was kind of his mentor. So he's kind of his son in that sense.
Oh, that's cool.
Timothy also received his name, which means one who honors God. Isn't that cool?
No way.
I know. I was like, oh, that's a really cool name.
That's pretty neat.
So his mother and his grandmother taught him about the Old Testament from his childhood. And Paul led Timothy to Christ in his first missionary trip to Lystra. That's when Timothy joined Paul, and then he returned the second trip and stayed with Paul all the way until Paul was imprisoned in Rome.
That's amazing.
So Timothy and Paul were together the whole time.
That's amazing.
So
I want to back up and say
Yeah.
something there. That was pretty cool. So his grandmother and mother,
Taught him about the Old
and
Testament.
it just shows the importance of women's prayers.
Yeah,
And
true.
Mother's prayers. I mean, like St. Augustine's mother Monica prayed forever for her.
That's cool.
His
That's
dad,
true.
his dad and him.
Yeah.
They were rough. They were rough, man. They were rough people. And they got converted. His dad finally was converted at the very end.
That's so cool.
That took years.
That's a good point. I'm glad you said mentioned that.
Persistence, man.
Yeah. Can't do anything without moms.
That's right.
That's right. Moms and grandmas.
That's right.
And so anyways, Paul and Timothy are together for a long time. And so Paul was also sent, when Paul was in prison, Paul would send Timothy out to go to some of the different churches and kind of preach his word and be his representative.
Oh, I got you.
Not his word, but Jesus' word.
Yeah.
But he would be his representative to help get them back on track and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so after Paul was released from prison, Paul revisited several of the cities in which he had ministered, including Ephesus. And leaving Timothy behind in Ephesus, he left him there so that he could deal with some problems that had arose. And Paul went on to Macedonia. And from there, that's when Paul started writing Timothy these letters. So Paul's out of prison, and Timothy is at at Ephesus, and Paul went to Macedonia. So Paul is writing these letters to Timothy while they're apart.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
And,
Gotcha.
and
yeah.
so he's given these letters to help carry out his task in the church. And there is some controversy over Paul's letters by critics, on many of his views. So this will be an interesting letter to read. But basically, the critics are kind of saying, well, Paul wouldn't have written this, and Paul wouldn't have written that. But they were able to prove all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it doesn't hold up. But it was interesting that they fight over everything. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's always going on.
And then this first letter is written between 62 and 64 AD, just to get a timeline.
62, 64.
Yep,
Okay.
AD. So that's the intro. So this is letters that Paul is writing to Timothy while they're apart to help correct the church in Ephesus.
And is that where we're at? Timothy's in Ephesus?
I guess so.
I got you. Okay, yeah.
Because that's where Paul left him.
Okay.
Isn't that neat?
That is so cool.
So now, I was going to say Paul. Now Rick's going to do that part.
And that is pretty amazing because Ephesus really was. In Ephesus, he talked a lot about the church.
Yes.
And now he's talking about in Timothy how to behave in the church as a family.
That is cool. I should point out, we're not starting on chapter 1 of 1 Timothy. We're starting on chapter 5 of 1 Timothy.
Yeah.
The only reason we're doing that is because that way we stay on the calendar, because we had a week off last week, so we're trying to stay on the calendar. So that's why we're kind of in a weird place. So take it away on 1 Timothy 5.
So we have to remember that those in Christ are a covenant family.
Yes.
First of all. And so that's what Timothy's talking about. Paul is talking about to Timothy here. As a matter of fact, that's what the whole thing's about. The whole Bible is about being a covenant family.
Yes, true.
It's a family. If you
True.
if you can't understand the Bible, you have to look at it this way. God is bringing in a family.
Yes.
And he's bringing them in Christ, in Christ, and that way we're in Christ as a family. And so this is what Timothy's talking about here. And of course, like any other family, you got to have rules.
Yes.
I mean, that's how you make things function, right? You're
That's
supposed to have
true.
rules anyway. So Paul begins by showing how we are to treat each other. He talks to, and this is, Timothy is going to be teaching the people in the church. And he's saying, do not rebuke an older man. In verse 1, it says, don't rebuke him like harshly as an older man, but treat him like a father.
That's nice.
And Paul talks about that with the older women too. Treat them as mothers, and younger men as brothers, and younger women as sisters. And it's important to see them as a family. And pastors have to do that. They have to. He's teaching them that pastors need to look at younger women as sisters to keep lust out and stuff like that too.
That's good too.
Because God only hires sinners.
Yes.
I mean, we're all sinners saved by grace.
That's true.
So that's where we get
The best way it can be.
So Timothy's regard them all as family.
I like that.
And then he talks about taking care of widows. So again, and there's one thing beautiful about Israel and the way they used to do things is they did take care of their widows.
Yes.
And the hungry and the poor and the sick, and that was just part of. Some of it was for taxing, but some of it was giving. I mean, when you see people giving in the church in these little temples or whatever, they gave alms to the poor. Mm-hmm. But that was something they had to do.
Yeah.
So they took care of each other. And so Paul's bringing that back into the church, that we take care of widows, and really widows. Like Paul makes a distinction between widows who have children.
Yes.
Children that are believers.
Yes.
They're supposed to take care of them first. And he makes a distinction between young widows and old widows, saying that young widows should get married because they're going to be thinking about passions and stuff like that. And he also tells them while you're a widow, you need to stay busy.
Yeah.
Stay busy with stuff in the church, praying and things like that. Because if you're not, you're going to end up being idle. You're going to be gossiping and everything else.
What?
Yeah. So anyway, this it's pretty cool. This whole chapter here, especially, is about
I like that.
family rules.
I like that, and I like how you mentioned that. How the whole the whole book is about that. The whole book of the Bible.
It is. The whole book, it
It's special.
culminates, or how you say that, but it all comes together in Christ.
That's really cool.
In Christ, that covenant comes together.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get us both in here, but I can't. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very good.
Remember that every time that you think about going to the Lord's table, that's what it is. We're having a covenant meal together as a family.
Yes, and then sometimes there's people in church that you're like, oh, not that person, don't sit next to me, or oh, not that person. But that's our family. We all have that anyway. There's family that
Yeah.
Well,
We do.
yeah.
It's real out. Yeah, we do.
I was gonna say, well, we're pretty lucky we don't have that, but
Yeah.
there are some places where it's like that. So, anyways,
Anyway,
but it's nice to be back with you guys. Thanks for keeping my seat warm.
you're welcome.
All right, well, happy Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow for 1 Timothy number 6.
All right, keep rocking for the rock.
Woohoo! Love you.
Love you.
Bye.